we've not talked about in quite a while is the pluses and minuses, what it takes to work with investors, how to market yourself to investors, and how to make this a lucrative part of your business plan if you so choose. So a little background on me. I actually have worked with investors my entire career. I got my start with a group of Israeli investors out of New York City that ran me ragged. Days, nights, weekends. I was putting in over 100 to 200 offers a week for them. And we'd get one or two properties at like 40 or 50,000. But I was young and hungry and I was excited. It taught me the business. And I learned a lot from them about how to conduct myself, about how to put offers together, about how to get properties significantly cheaper. My biggest problem was that they wouldn't let me relist the properties. So once they got them, they basically put them up to any realtor who would list it at the lowest amount. For them, it was sure business. There wasn't much I could do to, no matter how many properties I brought to them, it was sheer business. Whoever brings the property gets the deal. There was no loyalty to me on my end. I then progressed later in my career working with a different investors, people who are more like, if you bring me the property, I'll let you relist it, and have built those relationships through to now when I get an investment property, I put it in front of 6, 7, 8 investors, drive the price up and get the best bargain for my client. So I've been able to work with investors successfully throughout my career. At one time doing almost all my business was investors. And now I'd say maybe 25% of the deals I do a year are from investors. And now I've invested some as myself. So talking about, why would you want to work with investors? So it kind of gets a bad deal. Sometimes people say, you don't want to work with investors. They'll run you ragged. They get to the closing table. They try to, reinvent the deal. They try to renegotiate, which has happened to me before, but it depends on the quality of the investor that you work with, the same as a realtor, right? So the positives of working with a investor is this: they're going to buy homes, right? That's the positive part. You want people, to buy homes. We're in the business of selling homes. Well, you've got these people here who are ready to buy homes. And a lot of times they pay cash, and sometimes they waive inspections. And sometimes you can put together 4, 5, 6, 7 deals, and it can be a relatively quick, easy way to make a lot of money, right? So investors can be a key part in you growing your business, your sphere of influence. They can be brand advocates for you. And, it depends on what the investor's vision is. But I've seen realtors hook on with a decent investor. And they go from doing 2 a year to doing, 8, 9 big apartment buildings a year. And that, some realtors make money off just 1 or 2 investors, and all they do is run for those investors. So it can be very lucrative. Let's talk a little bit about, the pros and cons of working with investors. Or first off, where would you even find said investors? So what I found is in every community, there is investment groups, meetings. They meet maybe every Wednesday night, future millionaire investments, buy and flipping housing groups. These are great opportunities. These are great things to go to build your sphere of influence, to build your brand, to build your knowledge in investing, right? But in these meetings, you'll meet maybe 100 to 200 people at these dinners. You meet 1 or 200 people that are investing in homes. Hand out your card, be everybody's best friend, right? You also meet a lot of realtors there that are looking, to work with investors, and they probably have deals that you can co-op with and things. So I've found a lot of investors through those kind of meetings. Most communities have sheriff sales. Here where I live, every county has a different one each day of the week. Camden, Burlington has theirs on Fridays. I think Camden has theirs on Wednesdays. Ocean County has on Thursdays. I've met a lot of investors going to these sheriff sales. For anybody who doesn't know out there, sheriff sales where repossessed properties or state-owned, bank-owned properties are auctioned off by the courthouse. Investors go there, bid cash, and try to get homes for a low price that they can resell. So that's a good place to meet investors. Facebook, investment groups, and wholesalers, anything that would draw you to people that are interested in investing in real estate. But you'll find all kinds of conferences, all kinds of social media groups. You can find investors if you want to work with them, right? So let's go over some of the pros before we go to the cons. Because again, I feel like sometimes working with investors gets a raw deal. So I'm going to tell you some things that might be able to help you. The first pro is the volume, right? You get a serious investor. I have investors that my number one investor does 100 a year, buys their own flips. Anything I bring them, they're gonna take good care of me on the relist. So, if all I wanted to do was investment, I could just find properties for them all day. And how might I find those? Well, you could do the little signs. I pay cash for homes. You could hit tax liens like Dasha Wynn would teach you. You could do a lot of different things to find these distressed properties. They are out there. Speaking of ways to find these properties is one of the things you may not be taking advantage of with eXp Realty is we have a program called Express Offers. You have to get certified to work with investors, but once you do, you become an express agent, express offer agent, and eXp will send you the top eXp investment properties in the state, coming soon, things that are going up for auction, things that are going to state sale, things that are properties with liens on them, taxes, all kinds of opportunities for investors. So basically, you can get a certification with eXp that will make you more marketable to the investor, right? I'm a certified express realtor. I can bring you properties that no other agent can, and that's true. eXp, again, is for the entrepreneur. eXp wants you to make money. eXp wants you to invest in your own properties. eXp wants you to be financially free. It's one of the reasons why I'm here, right? So that's another really good pro. Another pro to it is a lot of times when you find in the property, they will let you relist it. So you're not only getting a sale, you're getting a resale. So you're getting 2 for 1. So if you're chasing something like Icon or something like that, you find 5 investment properties, you're going to get the relist in 2 or 3 months when they fix it up and sell it. So that can be a really good way to boost up your numbers, get your brand out there, get signs in houses. Even if they're remodeling, it's going to take 6 months. That's 6 months your sign could be out there, right? So something to think about there. It can be easy. That's a pro. I mean, it could be easy. So you could get 8, 9, 10 investors together in your own group, what I call Dan's investment group. I find the property, I send it all out to them, and I say, you do your due diligence and don't bid on this property until you're ready. See, I've learned my mistake of running these investors around. Be like, you run the numbers. You drive by the property. I'm going to send you pictures. I'm going to tell you it's an average, below average shape. I'll give you my estimate, just from my blind eye, what I think it needs. And then you tell me if you want the property or not. If you're serious about it, the numbers make sense, then I'll show it to you, right? So I kind of dictate my own schedule. Instead of letting these investors run me ragged for a $50,000 sale, I kind of dictate to them, like, don't waste my time. You do your numbers, you do your ARV, and then you come back to me and you tell me if you want that property. So it can be easier to sell multiple properties. I have investment property now. I'm going to send it out tonight. I just picked up the listing today, $200,000, very nice home. I'm going to put it in front of all my investors. Whoever's going to bring me the highest bid, let me know tonight, right? Fast, easy, quick. I'll have it sold in 48 hours. They're not going to do an inspection. I can promise you they're going to pay cash. I mean, it can be easy street. Dealing with investors can be easy street if you have the right kind of investors, right? What is the right kind of investor? The right kind of investor is not going to play games, not going to renegotiate, always comes with the cash and keeps their word, right? That's a good investor, and hopefully relist with you too, right? That's a good investor. Some other pros, you learn the business, right? You learn what's a good flip, what's a good rental, what's not. You learn how to get variances for your client. You learn how to check if there's permits open. You learn how to go to the state and see if there's any tax liens open on the property before you bid on another sheriff's sale. I learned a ton about the business by running these investors. I mean, the truth is it burnt me out, right? I had to take a couple months off, man. They were running me nights, weekends, dinners, putting in so many offers a day. It was crazy. They would just drive through town offering on just about anything that was on the market, about a third of what it was listed for. And their goal was to get 1 or 2 a week. So it run me ragged, but I learned so much about the business from the properties that we did get, how to get a good contractor, what to look for in a contract, never pay a contractor first before they do the work, all kinds of things that I picked up and learned, the CO process on a construction home, checking the sewer lines, checking the septic, all kinds of things, it was a great learning process, but it also prepared me to be able to invest homes for myself, which I've done on a very low level. I've bought and flipped a couple. I've had a couple rentals, and I'm getting another one now. I'm what they call a small time investor. I'll do a couple, a year, 3 or 4, maybe 10 years. I've chosen to invest a lot of my money into private capital, stocks, and startup companies and things of that nature, because that's more exciting to me. But my point is, I know enough now to go out and run my own flipping business, my own rental business if I choose to. I have enough knowledge not to lose my backside on it. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. And, if I ever choose to go that route, I would, could collect a lot of rentals in a fast amount of time. I learned from where they lost money, what kind of appliance packages, how they put their color schemes together, how they get a warehouse with from Amazon and have like the same packages they put in every house, how they're cost efficient, how they get prices down, how they buy in bulk. You learn so much about how you would invest in properties. You can't help but learn, right? And knowledge is power. Okay. It also makes you a better realtor. Another thing I like about working with investors, a very big pro with investors, is a lot of times they become realtors because they look at homes, right? As money makers, right? So what I tell investors a lot of time when I'm working with them, I say, well, listen, if I bring a good agent into EXP and they sell 10 homes a year, 8 homes a year, that's $3,200 in my pocket. I was like, and when was the last time? And you want to make $500 a month off your rental for $6,000, right? I said, but show me a rental that ever grew magical wings and went out and got you 20 other rentals. If I bring a good agent into EXP, teach them the model, teach them the business, they're successful, and they go out and bring 20 agents underneath them, then I make 4% of what they sell. So this model of EXP appeals to investors, absolutely appeals to them. In fact, one of our greatest success stories, Jay Vitkin, brought in couple hundred agents, all doing investor groups, because this appeals to them. They look at agents like units. The more they bring on, the more their passive income grows. They really understand the business model, shrewd business people. So a lot of times it can be advantageous to add those people to your group. If you're recruiting an investor, one of the main perks about EXP is that you get 3 sales a year for free for yourself that you don't have to pay commission on, or you get to keep 100% of the commission. So for investors, if they got the real estate license, the EXP makes a ton of sense, right? And now you're allowed to wholesale with the EXP as well. So it can be a very important part of your business plan to say, I'm going to use these relationships with investors to also bring them to EXP. So that can be very good. Talking about the cons, right? The cons of dealing with investors. It can be long hours. Again, they'll run you all around town. Go look at 20 sheriff sales, all these things. You have to set boundaries with these investors or they will take advantage of you. You basically have to say, like, this is what I'm doing. You look at the homes. I'll send you the list. I'll send you the sheriff sales. You drive by. You do your own ARV. I'll do a CRM for you if you really need me to. But at the end of the day, you have to know what you're looking for in the market. If I send it to you and you like it and you say you want to see it, there's an expectation that you're serious about it, right? Because if not, you'll be showing 300 homes to get no deals done in a hurry. They'll just use you to open up doors, right? So you have to be prepared for the long hours. You have to be able to set boundaries and tell the investors, like, listen, this is what I'm willing to do and how I'm willing to do it. The other drawback can be the low commissions. You're going to work your tail off to sell a $50,000 house at 2% interest, right? And then you don't even know if you're going to get the relist. You hope you will, but you don't even know that. One of the ways around that is to have a contract with said investor. If I show you 20 properties, my fee is $1,500, right? That way, they're not going to waste your time. If you're opening 20 doors for them, you're going to ask for $1,500 in cash, or your minimum commission is $5,000, right? That's what I'll do with investors is I'll say, listen, if you buy a house, somebody's going to give me $5,000, right? If the house is $50,000 and the commission is 2.5%, sorry about your luck, but I'm going to write into the contract that you're going to pay me $5,000 flat fee for finding you the property, for hustling to get the CO, to do all the things I'm going to do. I'm not working for $300. I'm just not going to do it, right? So that's one of the main reasons why I set that expectation with investors right away. Another con is they can be difficult deals. You're not dealing a lot of times with the nicest properties under the sun. A lot of times you're dealing with properties that are dilapidated, beat up. There's a reason they're getting them for so cheap. They're going to have a lot of issues. You're going to have trouble getting a CO. Even if you're getting a temporary CO, there's going to be things you're going to have to do. You're going to have a ton of contractors. There's always going to be issues. The deals, especially if they're REO, there's going to be bankruptcies. There's going to be judgments. It can be a lot. And again, if you're doing it for $600, it ain't going to be worth it. That's one of the reasons why I say, listen, I set expectations and I say, here's my flat fee, with working with investors, right? So that's the way to do it. It can absolutely supplement your income, right? The idea, you don't want to be someone that turns off investors and doesn't work with investors. You want to be choosy about the type of investors you work with. But the biggest benefit of working with investors is, to me, that you end up becoming an investor yourself, right? That's the end goal, is that you want to learn as much as you can from their mistakes or their successes, that you can duplicate it and do it yourself once you have enough nest egg from all these passive income streams with EXP. And one of the things that I'm not sure that we're taking full advantage of is that we are partnered with the young man who runs Investor Army. right? That's the #1 investment site in the world on the internet. And this guy will absolutely train you, walk you through, give you unbelievable strategies in how to buy apartments, mobile homes, land, condominiums, any type of investment, all the training, all the resources, years of learning from scratch. This is a guy who had about, $100,000 when he started and has made himself into a billionaire buying, investing, and flipping in homes. This is a guy who's an EXP agent with us and is willing to help anybody fund, do their deal, close their deal, just basically is willing to help anybody learn how to become an investor. And that's one thing that I wish that every one of our agents were taking more advantage of. If you knew how easy it was to invest in real estate, almost all of our team would be doing it. The truth is, I got an investment property this week for about $10,000 all in. And on that $10,000, I'm going to make about $800 on the rental, right? A good deal. I had to find it myself, but there's ways to get these loans. There's ways to get these investment properties cheaply, sometimes with no money down, if you're willing to buy them straight from the state or get them from a tax lien sale. So there's all kinds of opportunities. You've got to learn, you've got to grow, you've got to do it. The fact is this: 90% of millionaires in the United States credit real estate as their #1 income. Wrap your head around that. 90% of millionaires in the United States credit real estate as the main reason they became millionaires. So, not a smart kid, but I'm able to reasonably deduct from that statistic that if I'm in real estate and I'm not investing in real estate, I'm missing the boat, right? I don't want to sell homes till I'm 90. I want to be, retired sitting on an island somewhere. Praise God, I'm pretty semi-retired now, but just bought a beach house, so that's very exciting. But that's the main desire, is to become an investor yourself, and that's one of the main purposes why I think working with investors is so good. So that's my pros and cons. That's, I think, where you find investors. This is why I think working with investors is good. I just advise you, if you're going to work for them, have a way to find them the properties, get express certified so you have properties for them, set boundaries, tell them exactly what your expectations are, charge them a fee per number of homes you're showing them, and charge them a flat fee commission. If I get you the property, this is what you're paying me. Somebody's giving me $5,000, whether it's you, the seller, I don't care who you negotiate with, but I don't work for less than $5,000. And believe me, if you're good at finding the properties, they'll pay anything. I've heard of agents charge $10,000 per home. They found investors, and investors would pay it because they're desperate to find homes that they can flip. Questions, comments, concerns, anything at all, fire away. Anybody? David, you had some background noise. Are you up now? Hold on one second.
Sorry about that.
There you are. No, I muted you. I just want to make sure you could speak if you wanted to. No big deal. Any questions, comments, concerns, David, Thomas, Jeanette, anybody about working with investors?
You are 100% right about the time absorption. But thankfully for me, when Sean passed one of his investors off for me to find cheap-ass row homes in downtown Baltimore, we ultimately got one for $61,500. And anyway, the bottom line is you're all on target. Boundaries are really, really important. But at that point in my career, it was my second client. So I didn't, he was like teaching me all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, so it's probably worth it.
His formulas, because they're all about, there's no emotion. I love first-time home buyers because they have emotion. They look out and they go, our kids will be so happy in the backyard. And then, but he goes, that's only a 7.8% return ROI. I need 9.9 or whatever.
And to be honest, I probably should have listed that in my pros. That's a pro for me for working with investors, is the emotions out of it. They're not going to break down crying at the first sign of anything. Like, they've been through this 1,000 times. Either they want it and it makes sense or it doesn't. That's a pro. They don't take a lot of your emotions. First-time buyers, divorce situations. I mean, that you can feel like you're a marriage counselor. You can feel like you're in the middle of being a psychiatrist.
I love it. Though. I love handing them the keys to their first home.
I like feeling like I'm making a difference as well, but sometimes it's refreshing for an investor to be like, this property makes sense. Can I hand you a check for, $70,000 for this property? Yes, you can. Make it out to the title company. To me, that's refreshing sometimes when I'm emotionally exhausted.
Yeah.
Because then if you know their formula, you can almost dictate which product makes sense. So I have one investor, I know what they're going to buy and not. When I look at it, I can call them.
You've worked with them enough. You got their calculations. You can almost do it for them.
I can submit offers on their behalf without them seeing the property. And with a proof of funds, because I know exactly what they're looking for and what they're not. So yeah, that is a definite plus. What else? Questions, comments, ideas? Working with investors today, just something I feel like we haven't been talking a lot about here in the last year. And I was worried a lot of you didn't even know that we're connected to Investor Army. I think we need to have that guy on more, some of our coaching and our clinics.
Dan, last night I went to a 3-hour cash flow breakfast club session. And wow, it's intense. No breaks, but you just bow, pow, 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 pow. You're interacting. I met a good roofer. I got a creative loan guy for investors, and I got 2 guys who want to buy again. And I'm gonna have lunch with them. That kind of thing.
It can be a wonderful way to build your business. It can be a rat race as well, but you'll get better too at picking out investors that you're a good fit with. So yeah, working with investors, a good way to do it. Any other comments, questions, worries, anything you're going with, anything you're dealing with, any struggles at all, anything I can help with before we let you go? I thought this topic would run a little bit longer, but it's kind of a little bit faster lesson than what I planned here. I haven't taught this in probably a year. It went a lot faster this time, maybe because of like the third time I've done it. But anything at all before we let you loose, cut you loose?
I have one, Dan. It's Jeanette.
Give it to me, Jeanette. I love you.
So I love you too, Dan. I am dealing with an investor right now. Well, 2. One, they strictly only want Camden County, and it seems like the inventory is just not there. What is there from what I can see? So I guess my question for you is like, how do I get involved or get on the list or find the in with the sheriff's list? Because
Sure.
I have no clue how to even go about that. And I think that would really help my situation with this guy right now.
That's a wonderful question. So what happens is you go to the website and you get the sheriff sale listings every week. And what I would do, they would come out on a Monday and the sheriff sale would be Friday. And I would drive through every sheriff sale that was coming. I would take a picture of the outside and I would send them an ARV. This is how much it's going to sheriff sale for. This is how much I think if you pay this much, I think you'll make profit. And I would run them ragged. Now I would just send it to my investor. Well, this is what's coming. Let me know if you want me to go bid anything on Friday. So that's a great way to do it, Jeanette. That's a great way. Find in Camden County, find where they're listed on the website. They have to be listed legally because the seller has to have a legal chance to repay for the property. One of the drawbacks, if that seller pays $100, the whole process starts over again. So if they want to prolong it, there is ways they can prolong it. So that's a good way to do it. Tax liens, distressed properties. Any county courthouse will give you a list of properties that are under distress that owe taxes. You go to them with your investors and you say, listen, we'll pay off your tax liens and we'll give you $5,000 in what the house is worth. Assuming, if you can find properties, you look for properties that have been lived in like 20 years. Say, well, if they've been put on 20 years, they can't be upside down, right? Unless they've refinanced. But you get to know people. We found a lot of deals like that. I felt a little uneasy about that, to be honest with you. But in the end, I was like, well, listen, they're going to lose the house anyway. At least they're walking away with $5,000 and their credit intact. That took a while for me to get to because I'm naturally I don't like that feeling a lot. But I learned to feel like, well, maybe this is a blessing in some ways. Another way to do it is auction.com. Auction.com, Hoobzoo. That used to be hot, man. I mean, you could go on auction.com and pick up properties in these tougher areas for nothing. You just want to be the last one to bid right before it closes. Now there's only like 10 or 15 properties a month on these sites, but used to be auction.com was crazy. REOs are coming way back though here soon. REOs are going to be flooding the market here soon. But those are some ways to do it. Those are some ways to find the properties, and just advertise yourself as a person looking for investment opportunities, investment properties. Sadly, You know, a lot of times estates, you know, I'd end up with estates where someone had passed away and the kids just didn't want to deal with the repairs of the property. You know, respectfully market yourself to estate lawyers. That can help you as well. Just say, listen, you get any estate properties, you need a good realtor. I can get it moved right away for cash. And that can help you as well grow your business, even though that's a little sad too. But great question. Great question. And if you need help, let me know. I mean, I might come out of semi-retirement one day and go to the Camden County sale with you. You never know. They are a lot of fun. If you've never been to a sheriff's sale, like at the courthouse where they're just going property after property and watching everybody fight over them, it is a good time. It's like kind of like going to Storage Wars. If you ever watch Storage Wars on Bravo or whatever, when they're fighting over the storage bins. Yeah, it's kind of like that, man. They get into it and be like, you know. So yeah, but great question. I'd love to help. Let me know. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd just print them off. The thing that would frustrate me, Jeanette, is I'd print them off. I'd go see them, and then by Friday, the people would make like a $2 payment, and then the home that we really wanted to bid on would be off the list, and then we go up to the whole auction for nothing. But anyway, it's a good time. I think every agent should go at least once.
No, I'm definitely going to, and I'll bother you when there's one coming up to see if you're available. Even if it's not for this investor that I'm thinking about, just to get the experience and kind of understand the lingo and the way it works, and you know the way the day plays out, just so that I can market myself a little bit better. Because me and Michelangelo like to joke, because I'm like, it's gonna sound so terrible saying this, but like I fake it till I make it kind of thing, since I'm still really new. But I can only get so far with that, and then I kind of hit a wall. So I'm trying to just like learn as much as possible. But this investor was thrown to me by one of my lenders. So
Okay.
now I'm trying to make it work so that on all three angles, everyone wins. You know, I look good for the lender, I help this investor out, and then build that relationship. And then obviously, you know, at the end of it, I end up winning. So it's kind of where I'm going with that.
Love that. Love that. Fantastic. Anything else? Questions, comments, working with investors before we wrap up for the night? I'm going to go upstairs and watch Cheers. We're still in this Cheers binge. We're on like season 4 now. Woody is there now. The coach has passed, sadly. So Woody's now there, and we're digging through the Cheers series. But
Nice. Hey,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Everybody knows your name, right? Anything else we got before we take off? Always good to see you. I got to get my guys to register. I got your email, David, about the golf outing. I'm excited to see you next week. It'll be my second golf outing of the week. But always a good time to see my friends and family in Homestead, Florida. Can't wait to see and spend some time with you, and maybe have a strategy session on Friday night.
I like that.
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
good. Yeah, that'd be great.
We do
All
that.
right. Yeah, going once, going twice. Anything else? If you have any topics that you really want me to cover, inbox me, email me. I'd be happy to go over some fresh material next week. But here for you always. Have a great week. And again, thanks for attending. We'll see you next time.
See you,
Thanks,
Dennis.
Dan. Bye, guys.
See ya.